My name's Barbara Gray from Claritystamp Limited, and today I'd like to show you a Gelli Plate technique that I've developed using the 6x6 Gelli Plate and one of our brick stencils. So I think we'll just get started and then we'll see what develops, shall we? Now the first thing I want you to notice is that I've put the jelly on a piece of white card. This is great for positioning, so that when I pull the print I can line up the top layer with the bottom layer. I've also screwed up some paper, just copy paper, and that's going to help me in a minute make the hole in the wall. So let's have a look. I need a little bit of copy paper to get rid of some excess paint, and then I just want to add an undercoat of buff titanium. So let's just add a little bit of buff titanium to the Gelli Plate first. There we are. And when we've covered our Gelli Plate, like so, we're going to make a distressed background like this. This is important, and we're just going to pull off with a piece of screwed up paper. We're getting rid of loads of the ink now, paint, sorry. But what I want to do now is specifically get rid of loads in this area here. So I'm using the paper to do that. There we are. That'll do. And then I'm going to take my card and I'm going to pull my first print. So we'll just do this. And then we're just going to burnish the back, you see. And it's easy to know that this is going to be, let's put a T for top there so we know that that's the top of our print. And then I'll just pull that off, and this will be my undercoat. This is going to be my undercoat, but I know that that's the top. This dries very fast. So that's the first thing. Now the next thing we want to do is the brick wall. So this time, let's add a little bit of brown, burnt umber, like so. And because we're going to pull the print straight away, we've got to work quite fast because this is a fast drying paint. So we're just going to distribute our acrylic paint like so. There. And then I'm going to place my stencil over the top. Then what I want to do is take a piece of copy paper and I'm just going to blot like so. But not all over, just in areas, so it's patchy like a real brick wall. Do you see? If I take the side of my hand and I pull through like so, this will work quite well. Then when I lift this off, what I'm going to do to make sure that there is an aperture is I'm going to put another bit of card down there. This comes in the kit. And then I want to just line up my print with the buff titanium, the distressed buff titanium, and again I'm going to burnish my print to transfer the paint. And then let's have a look, lift that off, and we've got a cool brick wall with a kind of a distressed edge, and we've also got quite a nice piece there too, so we can use that later. And more importantly even, we've got a really great, we want this to dry and then we can use this later. So let's put that to one side and let's just take a look at what we've got now. So we've got a pretty cool brick wall with a hole in the middle, and now we're going to start stamping. So my company is called Claritystamp, so the clue is in the name really, isn't it? And what I wanted to do now was just apply some of our lovely stamps to this frame. Now, when you're stamping onto archival paint, it's important that you use a permanent ink pad. So I'm using a Ranger ink pad, Archival Sepia, and I'm stamping with some of our really nice Birdhouse stamps. So first of all, let's just place the Birdhouse like so. Right, once the Birdhouse is in place, then we can work around that. Okay, Birdhouse in Sepia. And then I think, see this edge here is rather harsh. So I think I'm going to take one of our flower stamps or trellises, here we go, and I'm going to break up this edge, you see. And when I stamp onto acrylic paint, it really doesn't matter, but you'll see now it will start to really quickly come together and the edge is broken. I like that much better. There we go, it's softer. Now I'm going to take my cat and I'm going to place my cat. There's Romeo. There he is. And see, and even though I'm stamping onto acrylic paint, I can do that with a permanent ink pad. Now I've got a couple of little birds. Let me just put my glasses on so that they're not in the wrong place. There we go, there's a bird. And then we'll add a couple more. Give Romeo a reason for being there. Right, there's a little one in flight there. Okay, cool. Now, one of the interesting things is that I've established, when you use permanent ink pad, you can stamp on top of acrylic paint. When you use dye-based inks, like for example Adirondacks or distress pads, then what's really cool is that they wipe off the acrylic paint. Now let me show you what I'm talking about. If I take Stonewashed now, for example, and a makeup sponge, then you'll see in a moment, as I go through this area here, wherever the acrylic paint is not, so for example, remember when I did that distressed trick with the screwed up paper, it broke up the edge. Now have a look here, and wherever the distressed paint is, it wipes off. But wherever the white card is exposed, it's really cool, because it really makes it look like a tatty sort of old ancient hole in the wall. Look, have a look. And you can make it as dark as you choose. Let's have a look. If I add a little, just with a makeup sponge now, let's add a little colour around the moon. Don't need loads, just an illusion. There we go, look, we'll just flick it sideways. And then I think I'll take that off and I'll just flick in from the side across the moon. It looks so cool, watch. Right, here we go. Just flick it across like so. And then underneath the cat, let's take a look first where we are. Looking good up there. But you can see what I'm talking about. I can really make this dark and dramatic in that corner. Look, fantastic. Now let's have a look down here. I'm going to take the mushroom colour now. I think this is another nice colour. And I'll turn my makeup sponge round, and I'll add a little bit of depth round here underneath the cat, and you'll see immediately as soon as I do this, I'm just pulling into the corner of the artwork here and I'm adding shadow behind the cat there. And let's get into this corner as well, right, just to add some depth. So what's cool is, you see, where the ink pad is really dark, actually mushroom, but it's exposing the light buff titanium. It's like stamping or working with ink on a plastic tablecloth, and it just literally wipes straight off. I like it a lot. Now let's see where we are, see what we've got. Do you know what? Sometimes you just got to know when to stop. So let's take a look at our twilight scene, and you'll see, just to recap, that what I did was I created an aperture using this piece, you see, which we've also still got to work with. And let's just, before we say goodbye, let's take a look at what we've got going on here. And I just want to show you how to clean your Gelli Plate and also create a really nice background paper for your next project. If I take buff titanium, it's a great colour. It seems to work with most things. And there's nothing magic about this particular colour except that it complements most other colours. So for cleaning your Gelli Plate, this is perfect. You see, so what I'm doing now is I'm just spreading my buff titanium over my my dirty Gelli plate, if you like. So, I mean, I could go and wash it with warm soapy water, or I could make a really fantastic background. So again, I'm using the card underneath as my guide for positioning. And then we'll just, there we go, get some pressure going there. I mean, the Gelli plate's a pretty fantastic piece of kit, I've got to tell you. And then when we lift this off, there we are, you see? Cool, I love it, I love it, I love it. So, one, you've got a very clean Gelli plate, which I'm happy to show you. And two, you've got a really nice piece of background work all ready for your next project. So, thank you very much for joining me, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye now.